recording.
Mm.
All right. All right. I now call a meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Welcome to ANC 1E's October General Body Meeting. A few administrative notes as we get started. Today's meeting is being recorded. Closed caption is available for each user by clicking on the button on the toolbar below. Please submit questions through the Q&A function, also located on the toolbar below. Commissioners will be keeping an eye on the Q&A throughout the evening. If you're calling in rather than participating through the web, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. I'll now ask Secretary Grant to please conduct the roll call.
All right, Commissioner Howard,
Present.
Commissioner Hunker, Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Newland,
Present.
Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Footer,
Present.
right, and Commissioner Grant, of course, is present. 5 out of 7 are present.
Great. With 5 out of 7, we have a quorum and we can continue on. Thank you very much. All right. Per DC law, the ANC 1E meeting was noticed to the community via listserv, social media, website, and e-calendar. We will now move on to the approval of the agenda. Scroll down a little bit just so we can see it all. All right, so the meeting agenda tonight is quite small comparatively to other months. We'll start off with the consent agenda where we have 2 items, which I'll discuss in just a moment. Then we'll go over to community announcements and presentations, and we don't have any special guests tonight. We have 2 of our regular kind of presentations from the government. And then we will go to official business. And under official business, we have 1 resolution under consideration, and we have the Zoning and Economic Development Committee Chairman, Mr. Michael Ray, in the attendees and will join us when we're ready to get here. And then that will be it for this evening. Are there any additions or edits to the agenda that people would like to propose? All right, hearing and seeing none, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move with unanimous consent to adopt the agenda.
Thank you very much. Is there any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, the motion passes and the agenda is approved. All right, thank you for that. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Just as a reminder, all matters listed under consent are considered by the commission to be routine and will be enacted by 1 motion. Any commissioner may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. The consent agenda tonight includes the approval of the September 2025 ANC General Body Meeting minutes and the approval of ANC 1E's quarterly financial report, otherwise known as QFR, for fiscal year 25 Q4. Are there any items from the consent agenda that commissioners would like to move to official business for further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll now accept a motion to approve or adopt the consent agenda.
I make a motion with unanimous consent to adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Is there any dissent? All right, hearing none, the motion passes and the consent agenda is approved. All right, thank you very much. We are moving right along. Community announcements. Commissioners and members of the community may use this time to make public announcements, distribute information, or alert the community about issues. We will start with commissioners, then move to Councilmember Brianna Doe's office, then the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, also known as MOCRS, and then members of the public. All speakers will have 3 minutes. If you are here to speak on an issue or topic under official business, please hold until we get to that agenda item later on in the meeting. So with that, we'll start with commissioners. Commissioners, any announcements?
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Just want to say real quick, a shout out to Pepco. The recurring issue of Parkview's power outage was traced to a local transformer at the intersections of Marion, and Warder. They spent about 2 weeks repairing that and improving it, and they're still doing some road construction around it to kind of finish it. But they told the folks around there that came out to ask questions that this should solve it, and I confirmed with Traverse with Pepco that that should solve it, and we have not had a power outage in about 90 days. So, I just want to say thank you to Pepco, and with the group's kind of informal permission, send a thank you letter, at least from me, but I think from the commission for their efforts there, and I would like to include that in an upcoming newsletter that has been fixed. But I just, I thank you all for your advocacy there, for the resolutions that we introduced, the letters we sent seem to have got attention and worked, and so just very grateful for, I think, everyone in the area that was affected by power outages, many of you included. So just want to say thank you for everyone.
Thank you. And before Commissioner Brown, I see your hand is up. Before we move on to you, just for the record, please let the record reflect that Commissioner Hawker has joined the meeting, and so our quorum is increased by 1, and we have 6 out of 7 commissioners.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you call on me?
I did, yes.
Okay, great. The announcements, the community announcements from Councilmember Brianne Nadeau and the Mokers, excuse me, may cover this. Excuse me. But leaf collection season is coming up. Monday the November the 3rd. DPW service will hit. And also I just want to recognize the complaints that we've been getting, and I'm sure other commissioners have done that across the ANCs, that trash and recycling collection, there've been delays across the city and our SMDs. So and that's due to staffing shortages. But if you have not received trash or recycling collection, please report that not only to 311 but your local ANC commissioner and Moker. And also short notice, but I was able to attend a community safety walk with MPD and the Mokers today at Bruce Monroe Park. Calendar invite just got landed on Commissioner Newland and I's calendar, but I was able to make it briefly, and we were able to together troubleshoot some issues that are happening at the park. So yes, and that is it for me.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Grant.
Yes, I just want to add on to the trash collection issue. Randy Thorpe does send to all commissioners a schedule of trash collection, which areas are on schedule, which ward areas are not on schedule by commission, and when the trash should be collected. So in a lot of cases, the delay is by a day. They're about a day late, a day behind. So before people start calling 311, they might want to give it an extra day before they do that. Just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard?
The other thing too is I wanted a shout out to DC's housing department. They did a listening session for Ward 1 on Monday night that I joined virtually. And they kind of presented their vision for housing in Ward 1 specifically. As you know, there's a lot of changes on the way into making sure we have more affordable and accessible housing for folks. So I just want to appreciate the listening session there. I want to make sure that folks knew that they're doing the work of going out to the community and getting feedback from folks. And there was, I think, about 30 or 40 people on the Zoom, and I think there were a handful of folks that were there in person. So just some great feedback there.
Thank you. Commissioner Grant, did you have another comment?
No, sorry, I just forgot to put my hand down. Thank you.
No, you're good. I have 2 quick ones. So I had mentioned last month that we had organized, or we had scheduled, the Casey Lewis community meeting. It's the first effort since the RFP had gone out, and we were starting to hear from the designers and the contractors on what the plan was going to be and some initial thoughts. We had that meeting over the past month. It went really well. It'll be the first of a couple of other things. We're breaking up the design and execution of the park into 2 phases. One that's in coordination with the school because it's going to be a swing space for Seton. And so that is kind of phase 1. And then phase 2 will be the kind of below the hill where the basketball courts, the baseball diamond is, and a couple of other things. So much more engagement coming along and more to come on that one. Second thing I'd want to just note is MPD, the 3rd district for MPD, held a meeting with the ANC chairs and the public safety leaders like Commissioner Newland and from the ANCs. And essentially, they wanted to have the beginning of a conversation to see how MPD can begin to repair some of the relationship that has been tarnished with some of the, not some of, with the federal takeover of Washington, D.C. and ICE involvement in other federal agencies. It was a very good conversation. It was the beginning of, I'm sure, many conversations. The bottom line up front is that they have a lot of ideas of how they can try to start to restore it, but I think that everybody in the room was quite adamant that nothing can really be done until there's a lot more transparency and clarity on what they are doing currently and how they're going to be held accountable to making sure that federal agencies are not using information inappropriately or doing things that they shouldn't be doing with MPD. And so it's the beginning of multiple conversations. It's extraordinarily important. So I give 3D Commander a lot of credit for beginning the conversation. And there's just still a lot of anger and confusion and nervousness. And so I look forward to more conversations. We'll keep you guys posted, and hopefully we can kind of bring it up or open the doors to the conversation so a lot more people can participate. But wanted to give that update. Commissioners, any other questions, comments, announcements?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Furter, who's the commander for 3D now?
His name
Is
is
it it's not Pulliam, is it? Or
no. I have to look it up.
I'm just curious. I'm sorry, because I know the previous one was controversial, but anyway.
I'll send it to you.
I was just curious. It's not
Connors.
critical.
Yeah, say it again.
Thank you. That's who it is. Yes.
Sean Connors, Commander
That's right.
Connors.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he's good. Mhm.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
All right. If commissioners have no other,
Sorry, Chairman
Go
Footer, real quick. One other thing too, I sent around an email on this, but just flagging for everyone that ANC 1E has been chosen for the first kind of phase of launch of the new modernized websites where the ANCs will kind of have a consistent branding and focus. And so I will keep folks updated on that process as it moves through. But we were one of, I think, 5 or 6 ANCs chosen after we submitted a note that we wanted to participate in this. So we'll keep folks posted on that process, and we'll probably lean on folks in the community to share what they think is important for a website redesign and et cetera. So just forgot to mention that.
awesome. Thank you for that update. All right. Next, we will move to Councilmember Brianne Nadeau's office, and we have with us tonight Eliza Roche Robinson. So let me just bring. All right. Hi, Ms. Robinson. How are you?
Hey everyone, can you guys see me and hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I hope you guys are having a great evening. If you do not know me, my name is Eliza Roche Robinson, and I am Councilmember Nadeau's Constituent Services Specialist. So I'm just going to give you guys a few updates from the office, and please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned. First on the docket is TOPA in the Rental Act. So at the second reading of the Rental Act, the council supported an amendment put forward by Councilmember Nadeau, Councilmember Louis George, and Chairman Mendelson and this was a major win for tenants and for the city's housing ecosystem. So the amendment helps make housing transactions more predictable, encourages new investment in the district, and most importantly, preserves tenants' ability to negotiate. Without it, TOPA, or the Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act, would have been gutted beyond repair. During this same vote, the council also passed a last-minute amendment creating an exemption for buildings with two to four units. This was done without a public hearing and with little transparency, and it represents the largest change to TOPA in decades. This amendment strips more than 15,000 households of their rights under TOPA, and because of that, the council member voted no on the Rental Act. As she said before, these kinds of exemptions, like ones for single-family homes or downtown buildings, are often justified with the false claim that tenant rights harm housing production, but no evidence supports that claim. Councilmember Nadeau understands the challenges that small property owners face, and she believes we can address those without taking away tenants' rights. She will be introducing new legislation to streamline the sale process for small buildings and fix this flawed amendment. And unlike what has happened, her bill will receive a full public hearing, giving residents the opportunity to be heard. Secondly, bottle bill. So earlier this year, the council member introduced the Beverage Container Recycling Bill, also known as the Bottle Bill. On October 1st, the Committee on Business and Economic Development held a hearing with more than 200 people testifying, showing just how much public interest there is in tackling waste and protecting our rivers. The day before the hearing, our office hosted reporters and environmental advocates on a boat tour of the Anacostia River to highlight the impact of litter and plastic waste. It received great media coverage, which you can still find online if you are interested. We're expecting another hearing in the Transportation and Environment Committee in November before the bill moves to the full council. There has been some misinformation, but to be clear, bottle bills have not increased beverage prices anywhere that they've been implemented in the past 20 years, and small businesses and breweries are largely exempt. If you would like to learn more, you can go to Councilmember Nadeau's website at brianneknadeau.com/bottlebill. Third, Public Works and Operations Committee hearing on consumer protection. So yesterday, Councilmember Nadeau chaired a hearing in the Public Works and Operations Committee on three important consumer protection bills. The first is the Resale Act, which would cap excessive resale prices for concert and live event tickets. And this would require resellers to be licensed and ensure price transparency and refund rights for buyers. The second is Enhancing Consumer Protection Procedures Act, which was introduced with Chairman Mendelson, which strengthens the city's ability to combat unfair or deceptive business practices and gives the district's agencies stronger enforcement tools. And the third is the Housing with Integrity Act, which targets landlords with repeated housing code violations. The council member is determined to hold negligent property owners accountable and ensure every resident has safe and livable housing. The committee will now review all three bills and decide whether they want to move forward with it to the full council for a vote. Next is the federal government shutdown and home rule. So as you know, the federal government shutdown has caused a lot of uncertainty, but DC Gov is open. On October 7th, the council passed emergency legislation allowing the city to resume issuing marriage licenses, since the DC Superior Court's Marriage Bureau was closed due to federal funding. Furloughed federal employees can apply for unemployment benefits at dcnetworks.org, but just to note, if you do receive retroactive pay, those benefits will need to be repaid. Community partners like the Capital Area Food Bank are stepping up with supplemental food distributions for affected federal workers and contractors, including at Urban Outreach, which is at 5343 C Street Southeast on Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. All of this is happening amid one of the worst challenges to home rule in our history. The 30-day federal control of MPD is officially over, but agencies like ICE, DEA, and the National Guard continue to operate under presidential authority. We are very concerned that the MPD may still be cooperating with ICE despite assurances that this would end. The council member is pushing for full compliance with DC's sanctuary values laws. If you are a resident who experienced or witnesses concerning law enforcement incidents, you should report them to the Office of the Attorney General and the Office of Police Complaints. And if you need that information, please let us know. We're also monitoring anti-home rule bills in Congress, and the mayor, attorney general, and council are united in opposing these threats to DC's autonomy. Lastly is Politics Hour. So Councilmember Nadeau will be on WAMU's Politics Hour this Friday, October 24th at noon, and she'll be discussing some of the bills that I referenced earlier, so TOPA, the Bottle Bill, the Resale Act, and other legislative priorities. If you are interested in tuning in, please do so. And that is all for me. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining us this evening.
Thank you guys.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have the mayor's office, Moker's office, and Portia Foreman should be, and I see Stephanie Pamela Avancula is raising her hand, so I'll promote you. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hi,
Thanks for joining us. The floor is yours.
thank you. I meant to mention that I seen in the agenda it said Portia, which was the former Moker, but it was okay. Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Avincula. I'm the Ward 1 Liaison Moker, and currently it's just me, and we do have Anthony, Ward 1 Liaison Manager. Manager. He is currently still out. He's recovering and returning towards the end of November. So as of right now, it's just been me in the ward. Um, you know, but I'm still here to be reached. So far for the updates that I have in regards to the 1E, as Ms. Rashida Brown stated earlier, we did have an MPD walk, 4D MPD walks today at 4 o'clock. Typically, those walks do happen every Wednesday with 4Ds, and it's according to their agenda. They have different locations as to where they will let us know what and where the walk will be at. The majority of the walk typically does happen in Ward 4, and about maybe one or two happens in Ward 1. And when that does take place, it typically happens on the 1E side or in the one closer to the 1D area around Spring Road. Today's fell on around Boosterman Road. We wanted to focus on the issues and concern around the park that Ms. Rashida also brought to our attention and the MPD was also aware of. And then along the way, we also went ahead and cut through and went through around the alleys and around the businesses just to put eyes on the concerns of the issue that was brought to us. The follow-up that I will be taking place will be a follow-up walk and then also contacting DLCP just to connect with the business and APCA just to make sure that certain things and guidelines are being met with those business and the hours that we were given that they're still currently operating. One of the other updates that I wanted to also touch base in regards to the 1E area, I believe is in 1E01 with Commissioner Howard within the Quebec area where the American Best Wings and the businesses along the strip and the alleyway, which is a constant DPW issue. I don't know if you've noticed the different and major change that's been going on with the trash bins and the trash cans and some days are clean, some days are picked up. I know the business owners have been reached out multiple times through myself and the team. We also had a agency walk about 3 weeks ago in that area where DOB was brought out, DPW was out, DOH, and DOCP and DCPS. We wanted to touch base with all the businesses, the concerns around the area, and also point out the alleyway. And also Clean City was involved around the time. Now Clean City is under DPW, and Maria Berry is still the director, she's still a point of contact and a great point of contact. The team does come out and tries to treat and abate the area. The treatments that they do, I believe, is about once or twice a week. Inspector Justin from DPW typically comes around the area multiple times. And we discussed many different ways of how we can resolve that issue with the business. I was able to contact and engage with one of the business owners, and a new trash can bin was restored and added to the alleyway because one of them was missing one, and I believe one other business is still missing one. Hopefully that kind of reduces the issue with some of the trash issue, but I do believe that most of the issues it still has to do with the residents, who a lot of the time, as the business stated, that they do pour their trash onto their site, which is why they have so much. But now they place some bars and fences around to try to help with that issue. But I would love to connect a little bit more and try to see how we can do another walk with youth commissioner, just to see what is the best time that we can connect with that. But I'm constantly, if not every day, there on my sweep days. There every other week and twice a week in that area.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela. I appreciate the TLC that you're giving to the area. I think Commissioner Grant and I have dealt with that area on all the way down Georgia, and even lower with the rest of the commission. I think the kind of concerns we hear from residents, like they would say that there's illegal dumping going on, and it's not them all the time. And so I think the other thing too is what I would like to request, and is that a lot of the walkthroughs that happen with MPD and with DPW are in the daytime between 9 and 5. And Commissioner, I think Grant and I have tried to get in there when we can, but for those of us who have day jobs, and including me, the constituents, it's hard to jump in and join those things in the middle of the day. I know some do happen on the weekends and at night. In lieu of that, I tried to send questions about the crime, in specific the booster crime we saw over the summer, and that we'll almost inevitably see next summer, to the MPD commander and the liaison, and was told that we don't answer questions in writing, to come to a walk. And I said, I can't come to a walk, I have a day job. So it's a little kind of frustrating there, I think, some of that. On the par, we're glad that people are there, and these agencies are super responsive. In particular, DPW, I think Randy is amazing. And is always responsive. And the number of individual requests that we have received to boost because 311 is not listening or whatever had dropped to minimal. So it tells me that 311 is responding quickly when we don't have to boost it. So I thank them for that. And I think that's probably due to a large part into the council member and your focus on the area. So thank you for doing that. But there is a section there, I forget what street it is exactly. It's right behind the school, the center, where I think a lot of stuff just kind of gets dumped. And I try to put in 301 requests when I drive by at night and see a random sofa sitting out there that wasn't there before. And so, that, which adds to the loitering issue. So, like I said, it's gotten much better. I think some of that may be seasonal as well. As folks are spending less time outdoors and school's back. But I think the only request we would have is we're safe. I know going after dark is not safe, but where we can on weekends and after 5 o'clock, I think some residents would appreciate it, and I personally would appreciate, or time it to a congressional recess, which is harder these days than it looks, because we never know when we're going to be in session these days. Where I have a little more flexibility there too. So I think we've asked for this before, but the ability to kind of reach out and schedule a walk with us rather than saying here's the date and time, join us. I think we would I know I would personally appreciate that. I don't want to speak for everyone on the commission, but I suspect that'd be a popular proposal. But thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for being there. I think the council members' attention and focus has been very helpful.
I will just mention one of the reasons why I know that the events, the walks, things of that nature happened at kind of the last minute is because what had happened in the past was that with advance notice, they would come out and basically clean it up and make it look like it was much better than what the natural environment actually was. And so I know the mayor's office specifically had made it a little bit more last minute feeling so that there couldn't be advanced teams that were going and actually like taking care of the issues that they were trying to actually see in real time. So I know there's like a delicate balance with
Well,
trying to.
I'll say the problem is not lead time. The problem is like the time at which they're choosing, right?
Got it. Hmm.
So in regards to the MPD walks that I know that typically they're always at 4 o'clock. And that's just, I guess, the way it was scheduled. But the walks that we can align and just coordinate ourselves, I'm always open and willing to, just meet you at the time that works for you. Because I'm basically just, you could just say 24/7 at this point. But I'm always open to a evening walk, a night walk. I know I've done it in the other commissions, with the other commissioners in other ANC areas. So that's not a problem. That's just in regards and just, I guess, just organizing and coordinating with everyone. And because I know the few of the walks that I've had in the 1E area, typically I don't get to see how many residents comes to them, but I understand because a lot of them are working. Um, but they also typically do happen around 3 or 4 o'clock ish, and I know that that's one of the main issue. And the MPD officer Harrison did mention that he will try to adjust and work with that scheduling, because a lot of the time when they're given the areas that they will be doing the walks, typically they don't get to know in advance sometime because the they always shift and they always change. So, if, for example, if the walk was scheduled to be on 14 Spring Road, but it just so happened that maybe around that week there was a shooting or something, an incident happened, we might want to switch it and we're going to now go into where the crime took place just to go and see, analyze, connect with families and the residents. And then, that's typically sometimes how it works, and it switches up a lot of time. But I'll try to make sure I let him know that we can try to maybe push it to like 6 o'clock if that's possible. Because I know MPD, their schedule is also, very kind of like somewhat hectic with the
Yeah.
team. So where they are trying to work with us, but we can schedule one, the commissioner's residents and myself, and then maybe some of the agency that can come out in the evening, with an advanced time.
Yeah, 3 o'clock is also like peak childcare time, so they're probably getting a lot of that too.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Am I back? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, and I see Miss Brown also has her hand up.
So sorry, my internet went out right there, so I'm sorry if I came.
I was wondering why Commissioner Hawker was the host.
Commissioner Brown.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much, Stephanie, for that. And we were there in the walkthrough today, so you heard a lot of my feedback. And I think what is most helpful for me is as much advance notice as possible so I can plan around my schedule. And, we like to tell our constituents, right? So if they can make it, we can be able to share it with our network, but also just get questions in advance or concerns in advance prior to the meeting, because I kind of walked in, didn't really know a whole lot of information, and I could have been better prepared or at least had some constituents with me. So that's feedback, but also just please, whatever follow up, whether you see me or not, just copy me on the emails with the agencies, because there have been certain issues that we've been dealing with for a while, and I would just like to be kept in the loop and just do some pushing and be helpful as much as possible. So that's just kind of directed at the follow up that happened at the community walkthrough today at Bruce Monroe.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, any other questions?
Also, I like that polo.
Fine. Thank you. My green shirt. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. If there are no other questions, Pamela, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. And now we will go to members of the public. Members of the public, if you have any comments or questions or announcements, please feel free to raise your hand.
While we're waiting, I had someone reach out to me today and just letting folks know I'm looking into it, but they wanted me to raise awareness that about the city not finishing what was supposed to be a protected bike lane. They never installed the bollards, and it causes a ton of incidents with cars driving into the lane, including this person today as a cyclist. So I would probably lean on some of y'all who are more familiar with the bike lane construction around Parkview. I'm assuming this is on Park Place, knowing where this individual lives. And so I'll be kind of looking into that a little bit, but just if anybody has any other complaints, their history with it, I'd appreciate the background and the institutional knowledge.
Yeah, and I'd reach out directly to Commissioner Jacobson. He's most ingrained into a lot of that. And then Mr. Michael Ray, who we'll call up here in a moment, has tons of institutional knowledge there too.
I think you just called Michael old.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, I am not seeing any hands from the public, so we will move on to official business. So official business is organized into our 3 standing committees. The committee chairs will begin by providing a brief update on their committee's activities from October. Then they'll walk through each item of business and have 5 minutes per item to present. They'll take questions from commissioners and audience members until a motion is proposed. And with that, we will start with Zoning and Economic Development Committee with Mr. Michael Ray. Hello, Mr. Ray.
Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing?
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Not a problem. Not a
Yours.
problem. And I did hear that last comment, not only about me being old, which is true, but Mr. Howard or Commissioner Howard, I'm happy to chat. You know, it is certainly possible that any recent roadway construction might have removed some bollards. I don't know if any that were missing at the end of when the project began, but you know, that's a typical thing. So we'll just have to get whoever the person is that's doing those things now these days. But anyway, to zoning economic development, we did have a meeting this month, and we had one case. That case is on the 400 block of Park Road at 438, and that is what we'll chat about first. The committee, I'll just preface all this. The committee did vote to support the application, but I'll kind of walk through quickly what it is. This is a conversion of a single family home into a 3-unit apartment house. Which is pretty typical in this neighborhood when the lot size is large enough to have more than 2 units. This particular block also has the interesting feature that while it has a very small alley that's about 8 feet wide, that doesn't meet the regulation of an actual alleyway. And so there is some access to the backyards via the alley that is there, but even if you were to place a parking space in the backyard, it wouldn't be a legal parking space because the alley is too narrow. So as part of this conversion, you'll note that they'll need relief from the minimum parking. They will need relief to remove a rooftop architectural element. There's a bay window that they'll be taking out as part of this, and when they do an addition. The rear yard is smaller than most rear yards. These lots are wider than they are deep. So while the lot is fairly large, they'll need relief on the rear yard to put on the addition. The addition will go more than 10 feet beyond the attached neighbor's home. So that is part of, there's a lot here, I know, I'm sorry. It goes further back than 10 feet. So they'll need that relief as well. And then the actual conversion to 3 units is something that also requires review. But that's pretty, you know, that's a fairly low bar. They have been reaching out to the attached neighbor, but had not been able to make contact with that person despite sending some certified mail and knocking on their door a number of times. I'm not sure if they'll be here tonight. If they are, maybe they can give an update on whether or not that's happened. But that was one thing that they continue to work on because they would like to make sure they get contact with that neighbor before they go to their full hearing. So the one thing to know about this property is that this same developer purchased the property immediately to the east several years ago when it was 1A. And it was a case that I worked on. It's a case that Commissioner Brown would have worked on as well. This same developer has now purchased this property and is doing an identical conversion of this building. So this new home, this new apartment house will look just like the house next door. So they're going to mimic the same dormer styles, the same materials, the same backyard configurations. It's basically going to be a mirror image of the home that's right next door, which is probably a good thing in that it will maintain the general pattern of the block because it'll look like the other homes that are there. In terms of the parking, a reminder that this particular block, Park Road, was made one way several years ago at the behest of the commission, not maybe this commission, but a commission at the time. And in doing so, it doubled the parking on both sides of the street, similar to what happened on Park Place. So parking has not generally been a concern in this part of the neighborhood. Commissioner Howard perhaps can talk to that too. But they will have a paved area in the backyard that could technically be used as a parking pad for a small vehicle if they chose to do that. I understand that the house that they did several years ago gets used that way on occasion. But it won't be a legal space because of that alley width issue. But other than that, you're basically going to have the same property as next door. This owner, did a good job the last time. We didn't have any complaints, but they do continue to try to get in touch with their attached neighbor just to see if that person has any issues. But happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions?
Michael, where's the entrance to the property up? Oh, I see it. Oh, that is really small.
Oh yeah, the entrance to the alley is what you were going to say, not the entrance to the property.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, that alley overgrows usually. Those first 2 or 3 homes stays fairly clear, but if you get any further to the west, the greenery kind of comes in on you, and you can't really get through.
Well, can you get I guess you can technically get to the alley. It looks like barely.
Correct. You can technically get to the alley, but legally, it's not a full-blown alley. It wouldn't be a full-blown space.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is your SMD, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions?
I'll say is just somebody who has been inside one of those condos, I think at an open house or something, like the developers did a really good job. It's well constructed, and I think it's going to be a boost to that area.
Great. If there are no other questions from commissioners, then we'll go to the public. Members of the public, if you have any questions with respect to this BZA case at 438 Park Road, please raise your hand. I see that we have Angela Harris. Angela. All right. Angela, you should be able to talk now.
Okay, had not necessarily a question, but more so a concern. I'm a long-term native and resident of Manor Place, and I'm deeply concerned about the consistent parking waivers that we're seeing with this overdevelopment. And I don't really understand why we have the law in the books if developers are consistently getting parking waivers when it's a requirement to provide parking. And specifically on Manor Place, I've created multiple 311 requests because we have cars from other blocks that are parking on the street for days at a time without enforcement. So I just want to raise that concern.
Now obviously the commissioners can talk to sort of the general issue. I'm only going to speak to this to the point of how the BZA will look at it. So the waiver in this case isn't so much that they have to have the space, it's that if the space is available, they have to have the space. So it's incumbent upon this applicant to show that they're not allowed to have a parking space. And once they can show that they're not allowed to have the parking space vis-a-vis, they don't have this technically a wide enough alleyway, then they get a waiver. However, as I said, they are actually putting a space in. It would be smaller than what would be called for in the regulation. But as I understand it, the current house is in fact using that space on occasion for parking. So, you know, it's a catch-22 here. They can't technically put one in because the alleyway just isn't wide enough to allow it, which is what allows them then to get the waiver. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that bit of information. But you know, Manor Place was one that we had a couple of cases, and this ANC actually voted against them. Not so much necessarily because of the parking, but because Manor Place doesn't have any access to the alleys. Everything has to go through the front, trash collection, all these other issues. There were a lot of, and there's been a lot of problems on that block because of it. And so we tried to make the case that it is difficult to have a higher density on those blocks. And unfortunately, the BZA, they shot us down both times. So I'll give you that little bit of history.
Yeah, and Angela, I hear you. I think you and I have battled with the DPW on this a lot, trying to get enforcement. I think some people are taking advantage of knowledge of the law and are like doing things to just skirt right out of getting in trouble. And you know, we beef up presence for a while, and then it goes away, and then they come right back. And I think Manor it's not all zone 1 only parking. There's some 2-hour parking there that kind of complicates it a little bit. And then, as your point, there seems like there's always a construction object somewhere taking away parking even further on Manor. So I hear you, Angela, there. And yeah, something we're going to try to figure out in the longer run.
Commissioner Howard, I'm happy to work with you on brainstorming some ideas. Through the transportation package that I did earlier, I guess this was last year. One of the things that we did is we petitioned DDOT to change some of the zoning. We can talk to them about, I don't know if you guys have 2-4 shared zoning up there, if that goes down to Manor at all, or change the hours to make it 24-hour residential, or at least like one street, side of the street, things of that nature. But I'm happy to brainstorm with you on that.
Yeah, I think 3/4 of it is zone 1 only. There's like a quarter of it, I think, right by my property actually, that is zone. It's like three spots that are 2-hour parking standard green plate, signs. I think what would help is if we did the 24-hour zone 1 only thing. But to Angela's point, they're even violating the current laws that exist now, and the enforcement is hit or miss and is exasperating. It seems to me like anytime there's a construction on Park Place or Warder, they store their equipment on Manor for whatever reason, and so they lose parking spots because of it. Because there's, as you know, that's where that transformer I've been talking about, they were repaired. Well, for Angela, like a month or two, they've had their equipment just sitting. And it's like I drive out every day and try to squeeze my car. It's kind of annoying. And there's usually plenty of parking out on Park. Let's say plenty, but you have to walk like quite a bit of ways to get to your house, and at night it's not the safest thing. And Water, as you know, is just always full. So Manor kind of gets it's where they stick everything, and they kind of bear the brunt of a lot of things. That's not fair in my opinion. So, but yeah, Chairman Footer would love to brainstorm.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
But at least sorry, Angela.
What was that, Brad?
At least we have power.
Yeah.
Ms. Harris, did you have anything else? Any other questions or comments?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Members of the public, any comments or questions? All right. Seeing none, if there are no other questions or comments from commissioners, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the resolution supporting BZA case number 21373, which is at 438 Park Road Northwest.
So moved. So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown did. Thank you. And so we have a motion. It's been seconded. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Fine, thank you. All those opposed signify by raising your hand. And any abstentions? All right, with 6 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you, Michael.
No problem. I will then just add that we are going to have a meeting this coming month. I believe it is November the 12th. And we are going to have a BZA case. I think it is going to be for 3125 Warder Street, 3125 Warder Street. So they will be coming and presenting their plans. So if you're interested in seeing those and asking questions or commenting on what they're doing, you can also find that case if you do a Google search for BZA cases for DC. It'll come up with a database. And that database, if you type in 21390, 21390, that's for the case on Water Street. And you'd be able to see the plans and all the filings and everything like that. So you're all welcome to join us. It's a fun time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Mr. Ray. And moving on, we will go to Transportation and Public Space Committee. Commissioner Jacobson is not with us tonight. I was chatting with him quickly. They did meet in October, but they didn't have quorum. Only thing to report is that DDOT's open houses for Columbia Crosstown Bus Priority Project will be held on November 1st and November 4th at the Mount Pleasant Library. Information about that can be found on our website. Commissioner Howard, if you don't mind helping, we can post the or help advertise the DDOT announcements in the next newsletter. Commissioner Brown.
Just to be clear on that, Chairman Footer, that
Yeah.
Typically it's in the newsletter out after the CAL meeting. So if anything between now and end of November is probably not going to go in a newsletter. So as y'all have that information, if you will send it to me in the signal chain, I will make sure to get it out on social media, on Blue Sky and on Twitter. And then, obviously the newsletters they go out towards like right after the CAL each month. So about like the 20th, 22nd, just FYI.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, I just wanted to, and I don't know if this is a part of the formal procedure, but in the absence of Commissioner Jacobson, make a bit of a announcement because something that just crossed my mind, and I know that we've had representatives from Howard talk about this before, but Howard's homecoming is coming up this weekend. Please, just for the community and commissioners, be aware of the road closures. I'll put some information in the chat to kind of the information hub on Howard's website. They have increased public safety during that time, and just know the biggest thing that I think would impact the community and public space right now is the parade that's happening at 10. And usually it's about an hour, and the roads will open up a little after 11. So I just wanted to share that as part of the announcement for TPS.
Thank you. And to that point, great announcement. Thank you so much. Howard University did a presentation to the ANC last month. So if you want to go and see some of the materials that they provided, please feel free to go to our website and you can see it with the materials from last month. But great point, Commissioner Brown. I will go to the community to see if they have any questions with respect to transportation and public space. And I do see that we have Joycelyn who has raised her hand. So Joycelyn, I'm going to bring you off of mute. Hi, Joycelyn. Did you have a question with respect to transportation and public space? You should be off mute, but I see that you're still muted. You may have to unmute. There you go.
Am I unmuted?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes. There was mention just now about a meeting at Mount Pleasant having to do with the crosstown buses. Is this the C61 bus?
Let me pull it very
No.
answer.
Can you hear me?
Ryan's
Yep,
your internet is going in and out.
Uh, can you hear me at all?
I can hear you now.
Okay. No, it's the Columbia Heights Crosstown Bus Priority.
Is that to do with the bus that goes to the hospital center and Veterans Administration?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
I'll just share
Has the
my
Transportation Committee taken up that issue any? Because I know our senior center, Bernice Fontenot Senior Wellness Center, and the Civic Association president, we've written to everybody regarding that C61 bus not going into the hospital center and veterans when two other buses do. Is this something the ANC, I'm not sure if Darren, the president, Darren Jones, had sent it to the ANC.
I'm not sure if my internet is working or not, but if it is, Commissioner Brown sponsored a resolution, I believe 2 or 3 months ago. So Commissioner Brown, do you want to just take a moment and give an update on how that is going?
Yes, thank you so much for your comment. We are aware of the issues. It is separate from the Crosstown Bus Lane project. To answer your question, we have been going back and forth with WMATA. This is the part of the Better Bus Network initiative as a result of some of the changes to the bus stops and the bus lane routes. I have been engaged with WMATA since we passed the resolution, and they, because of the increased complaints and just them not just them overlooking the impact of the issue, they are having internal discussions. So I can share that. I no promises because we can't share. We don't have a sense of awareness of timeline and where they might land, but they are aware. And thank you for raising these issues. Darren did raise that to the ANC, and we have passed a resolution as a result. So hopefully, we can be able to report out the results through this ANC.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the question. All right. So to wrap up with Transportation and Public Space Committee, they will be meeting next on Wednesday, November 5th at 7 p.m. Information on joining that meeting can be found on our website, and the link is provided in the agenda. Next, we will move over to Public Space and Engagement Committee with Commissioner Newland.
Yeah, so we actually did have a meeting this month, so not a lot to report. And thank you, Chair Footer, for the readout on the convening the 3D NPD commander, and hoping that those conversations continue and keep folks updated. But yeah, nothing to report from my end. Otherwise, we do have a meeting in November. I think it's the 10th. Is that right? November 10th, 7 p.m. But yeah, happy to answer any questions from commissioners or the board.
Any questions from commissioners? All right. Any questions from members of the public? All right. Seeing none. That concludes our agenda for this evening. Having no other business before the commission, I'll now accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
And it's been seconded by Commissioner Howard. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed? Any abstentions? With 6 in favor, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes and we are adjourned. Before we leave, a very important note that due to the Thanksgiving holiday schedule, the next general meeting for ANC 1E is the week after Thanksgiving, which will be on Wednesday, December 3rd. The Committee of the Whole, however, will be the week of Thanksgiving, and it'll be November 25th. Similar to what we did this month, if we do not have any business before or any resolutions that require a substantial amount of consideration or debate, we can have a conversation about canceling the cow. But for right now, the schedule will be, our next meeting will be on December 3rd. Announcements and other information about ANC 1E are available at anc1e.org. That's anc1e.org. Please feel free to contact any commissioners with any questions. And with that, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Brian, you can stop recording.
Thank you.